everyone. Let's start a new topic. I hope that you have all learned our previous portion. In our previous class, we discussed about land and soil resources. I told you to write that question and answers in your notebook. After hearing this class, you should complete writing. Write all the question and answers, and I will be sending some assignment questions also. That also should be written in your notebook. And read your textbook and write the question and answers in your notebook. Let's start a new topic today. The next topic is, two topics we are discussing. One is about water resources. The next is wildlife and vegetation. Vegetation and wildlife resources. These two aspects we are discussing today. It's very easy to learn because you have already learned in 8th standard. It's very easy. Just listen. The first we are discussing about water resources. As everyone knows that water is a renewable resource. Water is very precious. As you learned, 3/4 of the earth's surface containing water. Right? That already you learned. So, Earth is called as water planet or blue planet. 3/4 of the earth's surface containing water. But you don't forget one point. 2/3 of this water containing in the ocean. As ocean water is saline, it is not fit for our use. 2/3 of the water containing in the ocean. We have only 2.7% of fresh water available in the earth. 2.7% of fresh water only available as fresh water. And this large part of this fresh water, my dear children, that is found in the inaccessible areas, topper part of the mountains, glaciers, etc. That means we have only 1% of water is available as fresh water that is fit for human use. 2.7% of fresh water available on the earth, but it is not accessible. Only 1% is accessible for human use. This 1% is found in surface water, groundwater, water vapor, etc. That means, you already understood, I think, that means we have only 1% of fresh water available for our use. That's why it is very important to conserve the water. Okay, water is very precious, water is important, but we have only 1% is available as fresh water. Okay, and if suppose any question comes, why should we conserve water? You can write these points also. And the first I told that water is a renewable resource. What makes water as a renewable resource? That also you studied. Okay, water is very important substance. It is a renewable resource. As you have already learned in 8th standard, water moves through different spheres of the earth. Right? Water in the oceans, that means hydrosphere, you studied. Oceans and large water bodies get evaporated due to the sun's heat. This evaporated water condenses, reaches in the atmosphere and condenses. Condensation takes place. And after condensing, it makes the water droplets and again reaches back to the earth in the form of precipitation. This rainfall again reaches in the water bodies, again evaporates, condenses, and in the form of precipitation it also reaches and it is run off to this water bodies. This continuous cycle of movement of water is called as water cycle. Water cycle. I think you have already heard that, already studied that topic. What is water cycle? Water cycle is the continuous movement of water through different spheres of the earth. That makes water as renewable resource. Okay? We studied water. Earth is called as water planet or blue planet. 3/4 of the earth containing water, but 2/3 of the water containing in the oceans. We have only 2.7% of fresh water, But 1% of fresh water is only available for fit for human use. It is found in the groundwater as groundwater, surface water in the rivers and water vapor. Water cycle makes water as renewable resource. Is it clear? These points are clear. Okay. Dear children, as we told, water is a precious. Water is a renewable resources which is very precious. Okay, we the humans use these rich resources, okay, for different purposes. Here comes a question, what are the uses of water? Everyone knows that answer. Okay, we use water for drinking, washing and many other domestic purposes. Besides that, water is mainly used for constructional activities. Okay, and industries use large amount of water. Industries use water as raw material, you study it. Industries also use water for cooling machines. Large amount of water is used for the industrial purposes. And industries use very large amount of water for generating hydroelectricity. For generating hydroelectricity, a large amount of water is used. Besides that, as you know that, for expanding agriculture, we use large amount of water. For what purposes? For irrigational purposes. For irrigational purposes, we use water. In constructional activities, we use. And industrial purposes, we use large amount of water. And besides all, for our domestic use, we use huge amount of water. Okay, that means this continuous use of water which leads scarcity of water. Okay, and without water, we cannot survive on the earth. Okay, at the same time, the use of water without any control which leads water scarcity or shortage of water. Here comes a very important point or very important question. What are the causes of this water scarcity? Already we have mentioned the uses of water. Okay, here comes, you just think. What are the causes of water scarcity? Okay, as you might have heard that India is one of the countries in the world which receives high rainfall. Okay, Mawsynram in Meghalaya recorded as the place which received highest average rainfall in the world. But, have you heard that? Have you heard that India is one of the countries in the world which face acute water shortage? India gets abundant rainfall, but India also facing water scarcity. Why? What are the causes of this water scarcity or shortage of water? Okay, can we explain that point? What are the causes of water scarcity? It will be coming for the essay question. You should explain that each point. The first and foremost important reason behind water scarcity is the variations in rainfall. Variation in seasonal precipitation or rainfall. As you know that there are some region gets abundant rainfall, but some region gets less rainfall. This variation in seasonal precipitation also leads water scarcity. Besides that, as just we have mentioned, population growth. Population growth leads water scarcity because overgrowing population need more water for different purposes. That's why we exploit the water and without any control. Okay, besides that, this overgrowing population need more food. That's why in order to expand agriculture, we use large amount of water. It may lead water scarcity. Besides that, constructional activities, industrial activities, nothing is to mention, we already mentioned. Industries use large amount of water. Industrialization is one of the most important reason behind water scarcity. Okay, and constructional activities also must be controlled. It may also lead water scarcity. Okay, and besides all, another very important point, as everyone knows, that pollution. Pollution leads water scarcity. Okay, as you know that the industries emit effluents and waste materials discharged into the rivers, into the land, which may degrade, causes water scarcity. That's why some of the places in India which affects water scarcity due to pollution. Okay, contaminated water which is not good for our use. At the same time, use of non-biodegradable material also causes water scarcity. Okay, also pollute the water and causes water scarcity. That means the causes of water scarcities are seasonal variations in the seasonal precipitation or rainfall, agricultural expansion, constructional activities, overgrowing population, industrialization and urbanization, coming of more and more, emergence of more and more cities and towns which may lead more water scarcity. Okay, that means cities use more, people in urban area use more water than the people live in and country area or rural area. Urbanization also another important point. And besides all, pollution is another factor which leads water scarcity. That means it is very clear that, and these different practices of the people, both the humans and natural activity of course, natural calamity of course, okay, may degrade, may cause the water scarcity. Here comes very important point. Okay, water is very important, a basic need of the people. That means water should be conserved. How can we conserve water? Water conservation is very important process. How can we conserve water? Here comes another important question. Why should we conserve water? How can we conserve water? What are the measures to conserve rich water resources? That is the next topic. There are different ways to conserve water. What are these different ways to conserve water? Or how can we conserve water? Let's discuss that point. The first and foremost important point is rainwater harvesting. Rainwater harvesting is the best method by which we can conserve the rainwater. We can conserve the rich water resources. That is the first point. Second point is afforestation, planting trees, afforestation. Afforestation or which leads indirectly, which reduces water scarcity. That means forest and vegetation cover and reduce this runoff, or it which replenish the groundwater facilities by which we can reduce water scarcity. That is the second point. Another important point is we the humans must reduce the use of water. Okay, we must control and minimize the use of water. That is the next third point. And as we discussed that industries may make use large amount of water, that should be also minimized. Or they should find out different ways to reduce the loss of water. Okay, and then canals and dams must be properly maintained and reduce the seepage of or loss of the water. Canals should be properly maintained and minimize the loss of water. Okay, and another important, as we discussed, that pollution. The pollution must be controlled. Industries must treat the waste materials before dumping into the rivers. Okay, industries must find out the different ways to reduce waste pollution. Okay, and the pollution rate must be controlled by the industries. Okay, waste material or flames must be treated, must be purified before dumping into the rivers. Besides all these points, we must be aware, humans must be aware about the rich resources, and we should take the remedies. We should take the measures to conserve our rich water resources. We must make or generate awareness among the people on how to conserve the rich water. Okay, that means conservation process is very important. We have to find out the remedies for these type of problems. Then only the survival of the human and other organisms will be possible on the earth, is possible on the earth. Is it okay? And then this much is for that water resources. We discussed about the water cycle and importance of water in the first part. The second part is what are the causes of water scarcity and how can we reduce or how can we conserve water. These four important aspects we discussed. The next about vegetation and wildlife resources. Okay, what is vegetation, wildlife and other features, we are discussing the next topic. Is it okay? Dear children, next we are discussing about vegetation and wildlife resources. What does the word vegetation mean? Have you heard the term vegetation? You already learned, I think. Vegetation means plant kingdom. Plant kingdom found in an area is called as vegetation. And of course, wildlife means animal kingdom. And have you heard any other term which have the same meaning? Yes, I think you already heard. That is flora and fauna. Flora means vegetation or plant kingdom. Fauna means animal kingdom or wildlife. We are discussing these two resources in the next part. Okay, and these vegetation and wildlife resources are interrelated. Everyone knows that. Okay, and vegetation determines the type of animals, or plant kingdom determines the type of animal kingdoms. Okay, and all these different organisms are interconnected. Okay, where animals depend on plants for their living. We the humans depend on both plants and animals for our needs. That means, and then there is a close connection between this living organism. It makes a system which is called as ecosystem. You study it. Okay, and this great biodiversity, that means variation in vegetation and wildlife, what we are discussing now. Okay, vegetation. Vegetation mainly classified into 4 types, as you learned, I think. Okay, different types of plants. That means types of plants are determined by the climatical condition, relief features, etc. These different types of plants or vegetation can be categorized as 4 types. The first one is forests. Next, grasslands or grasses. Third one is thorny bushes and scrubs. Fourth one is tundra vegetation. These are the 4 types of vegetation found in the world. The first one is forest. Nothing is to mention. Forest is found in the areas having high rainfall, which provides habitat for the different types of animals. Grasses. Grasses are mainly found, or grasslands are mainly found in the area receiving moderate rainfall. It also provides a habitat for different other types of animals. The third one is shrubs or thorny bushes. Thorny bushes and shrubs, small type or stunted type of vegetation, mainly found in the areas having extreme climatical condition. Mainly, the thorny bushes are found in desertic area where temperature is very high and precipitation is very low. These areas having thorny bushes are found. And the last one is tundra vegetation. Tundra vegetation is found in the polar regions. That means freezing cold areas. Okay, polar region or frigid zone mainly. Tundra vegetation is found mainly in the form of mosses and lichens. These are the 4 types of vegetation found in the world. The first we are discussing in detail about forest. Forest are 2 types. You study it. They are evergreen forest and deciduous forest. Evergreen, as the word or denotes, gives that meaning. It is always green. Okay, this evergreen found in the areas, evergreen forest found in the areas having high temperature and high rainfall. It contains different types of species of plants. That's why these different types of species shed their leaves in different seasons. That's why they always appear green in color. Next, deciduous forest. Deciduous forests are found in the region receiving moderate rainfall. Okay, and one of the most important feature of these trees found in this deciduous forest is most of the trees having broad and large leaves. Teak is the important species. That's why in order to conserve the loss of water in the summer season, and almost all these trees together shed their leaves. That is the main difference between evergreen forest and deciduous forest. Okay? And these forests also provide commercially very important trees. Yes, my dear children, these forests are very useful to us. It provides food, it provides medicine, it also affects the climatical condition, it regulates or prevents soil erosion, and it provides a habitat for different types of animal. Many other forest products are useful to us. These forests are very useful to us. That's why, and at the same time the animals are also very useful to us. That's why we human continuously exploit these resources. This exploitation results the destruction of this biodiversity. And here comes a question, what are the factors affecting the destruction of this biodiversity? That means destruction of this wildlife and vegetation. As everyone knows that, deforestation. Deforestation is one of the most important cause behind the destruction of this biodiversity. We the humans cut plants or trees for our needs. Okay, this deforestation creates or vast areas of forest are cleared by the people. And another important reason is in constructional activities. Constructional activities also leads the vanishing of the rich biodiversity. The population growth, the population growth also affects this biodiversity because overgrowing population needs more space to live. That's why we clear the forest and use for human settlement. Besides all, everyone knows that pollution. Pollution also affects the biodiversity. The use of non-biodegradable material and other contaminants in the atmosphere, in the water bodies and land also affects biodiversity. But it is very important that it should be conserved. Biodiversity should be conserved. The vegetation and wildlife should be conserved. It is important for our survival too. Here comes a question, how can we conserve this biodiversity? There are many steps taken by the government for the conservation of these wildlife and vegetations. Okay, the steps, what are the steps have taken, already taken by the government, what we are discussing. Okay, government have taken many steps. One of the most important step or measure taken by the government is the establishment of conservation centers. Government established many conservation centers such as national parks, wildlife sanctuaries, biosphere reserves, etc. These conservation centers protect the different types of animals and its surrounding or vegetation. And besides that, government passed many laws which banned hunting, poaching, cutting of trees, etc. were banned by the government. Okay, for preserving certain species are already declared as endangered species. Especially in order to protect these endangered species, government set up or these centers, conservation centers, and plus government passed certain laws which made hunting and poaching made illegal. And besides, government organized many awareness camps, social forestry programs such as social forestry, Project Indian Rhino, Project Indian Bustard, like projects were organized by the government. Vana Mahotsav, Chipko movement, like movements were organized by governmental and non-governmental agencies. These all aim for the preservation of this biodiversity. Besides that, the government made enlisted the species, those who are endangered or going to endangered are listed by the government and published in all these government offices for making awareness among the people for the preservation of these species. Okay, that means government have taken some measures. We the people, we the citizens have also some duties. We should conserve or we should make awareness among the people for the conservation of this rich biodiversity. Otherwise, survival of all living organism on the earth will be difficult. That's why it should be, this biodiversity should be preserved. Not only this biodiversity, water, land, soil, all these resources must be conserved. Okay, and I think these 4 important resources and its features are clear to you. Okay, and study this. Now we have completed the second lesson. Study all these question and answers what I have already given and what I am giving to you today also. And you should read the textbook from first onwards. You should read the textbook word by word. You should read it and make it clear. And if you have any doubt about any of these points are not clear to you, you are free to inform me. I will clear your doubts. Let's summarize the points. Okay? Thank you. Dear children, we can discuss the question and answers what we have studied. The first question, what is water cycle? Water cycle is the continuous movement of water through the oceans, the air, the land and back again through the processes of evaporation, precipitation and runoff. Second question, what are the uses of water? First point, human use huge amount of water for drinking, washing and also in the process of production. Second point, water is also used for agriculture, industries, generating electricity through reservoirs and dams are the other usages. Third question, what are the causes of water scarcity? First point, increasing population. Second point, rising demand for food and cash crops. Increasing urbanization. Fourth point, rising standard of living. Variation in seasonal or annual precipitation. Pollution or contamination of water resources. Fourth question, how can we conserve water? Or what are the ways to conserve water? First point, rainwater harvesting, afforestation, water pollution must be controlled by treating industrial effluents before releasing them in water bodies. The fourth point, the canals used for irrigating fields should be properly maintained to minimize losses by water seepage. Fifth point, sprinkler irrigation or drip irrigation must be introduced. Sixth point, reduce the exploitation or misuse of water. The next question what we have discussed is, which are the major vegetation types? The different types of vegetation are grouped as forests, grasslands, scrubs and tundra. The forests are found in the region getting heavy rainfall and high temperature. The grasslands are found in the region getting moderate rainfall. The places which receives very low rainfall, vegetation mainly in the form of thorny bushes and scrubs. Tundra vegetation of cold polar region comprises of mosses and lichens. How forests are broadly classified? Forests are broadly classified as evergreen and deciduous forests. Differences between evergreen and deciduous forests are, first point, evergreen forests are found in the region receiving heavy rainfall. Deciduous forests are found in the areas receiving moderate rainfall. Second point, evergreen forests shed their leaves in different seasons, so it appears green in color all the time. So they are called as evergreen forest. And trees shed their deciduous forests shed their leaves together in particular season in order to reduce loss of water. Third point, mahogany, ebony are the important species found in evergreen forest. Teak is the most important species found in deciduous forest. Third question, which are the major factors affecting the destruction of biodiversity? The first point, deforestation, soil erosion, constructional activities, forest fires, tsunami, landslides, etc. like natural factors, hunting and poaching. Question, what are the steps that government has taken to conserve plants and animals? Government set up many natural parks, wildlife sanctuaries, biosphere reserves for protecting our natural vegetation and wildlife. Second point, awareness programs like Vana Mahotsav social forestry are organized. Third point, laws are passed which made hunting, poaching, trade in wildlife illegal. Fourth point, international convention sites have been established by the government. Fifth point, forest guards and many other officers were appointed. These are some assignment questions. First question, why Earth is called blue planet or water planet? Second, which are the freshwater resources available for human use? Third, what is biosphere? Fourth question, define ecosystem. 5. How plants are useful to us. My dear children, read your textbook and find out these answers also and write in your notebook. Already I have given some question and answers that also you should write in your notebook. Again I am reminding you to read the textbook. Then after only you write the question and answers in your notebook and study it. we have completed one lesson and be prepared for the class test also. Thank you.